Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of half-dollar coins. Coins that most people ignore, spend without thinking, or leave forgotten in drawers. But hidden among them are rare pieces with incredible history, unique errors, and collector demand that can turn a single dollar into a small fortune. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar comes from mint errors and exceptional condition coins. A coin with a strong strike, flawless surfaces, and no visible wear, graded at the very top levels, can command significantly higher prices than average pieces. Even more fascinating are coins with striking errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual metal compositions. These rare mistakes are like fingerprints, unique and nearly impossible to replicate, making them incredibly desirable among collectors. One of the most talked about possibilities is the existence of coins struck on the wrong planchet or with unusual metallic characteristics. While extremely rare, such coins have been known to appear in auctions and can reach astonishing values. These are not everyday finds. They are the kind of discoveries that turn ordinary people into overnight sensations in the coin collecting world. But it's important to understand that these are exceptions, not the rule. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. A heavily circulated 1972 Kennedy half-dollar might only be worth its face value, but a coin preserved in mint state condition, especially one graded MS-65 or higher, can attract serious attention. Collectors are willing to pay premiums for coins that look as if they were just struck yesterday, with sharp details and brilliant luster that has survived the test of time. Another factor that adds intrigue is the historical context of the early 1970s. This was a period of economic transition in the United States, with changes in coin composition and declining use of half-dollars in everyday transactions. Because of this, many 1972 coins were stored rather than circulated, increasing the chances that high-quality examples still exist today, waiting to be rediscovered. But let's address the big claim, the idea that a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar could be worth millions or even billions. In reality, no verified example from this year has reached anywhere near that level. The highest values for rare half-dollars typically fall in the thousands, and in extraordinary cases, tens of thousands. The million-dollar coin narrative is powerful and exciting, but it's more myth than fact when it comes to this specific year. That said, the emotional and financial potential of coin collecting should not be underestimated. There are countless stories of people discovering rare coins in pocket change, inherited collections, or forgotten jars. While a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar may not make you a billionaire overnight, finding a rare error or pristine specimen could still be a meaningful and rewarding experience, both financially and historically. The story of the 1985 Kennedy half-dollar begins quietly, almost unnoticed by everyday people. It wasn't made of silver, it didn't carry flashy rarity at first glance, and millions were minted across Philadelphia and Denver. Yet hidden inside this ordinary-looking coin is a secret world that only sharp collectors understand. A world where tiny details, microscopic imperfections, and perfect preservation can turn a simple coin into something far more valuable than anyone expects. At first glance, if you pull a 1985 half-dollar from your pocket, it may seem like just another coin. In circulated condition, it's usually worth between 50 cents and a few dollars, nothing life-changing. But the real magic begins when condition enters the picture. Coins that have never been used, never scratched, and preserved in near-perfect state, what experts call mint state, can jump dramatically in value, especially when they reach extremely high grades. Coins value. Now imagine this. Among millions of coins, only a tiny fraction survive in near-perfect condition. These are graded at levels like MS-67 or higher, and suddenly the price transforms. Instead of coins worth cents, These rare high-grade survivors can reach into the thousands of dollars, not because they are made of precious metal, but because perfection itself is rare. Coins value, and then comes the real treasure hunt, mint errors. These are the accidental masterpieces of coin production. A small crack in the die, a misalignment, or an unusual strike can create a coin that is completely unique. Some 1985 half dollars show die breaks or unusual raised metal shapes, and collectors love these imperfections. These errors can turn an ordinary coin into something collectible, sometimes pushing values far beyond normal expectations. Coins value, but here's where many people get carried away with dreams of instant wealth. Viral claims often suggest these coins are worth millions overnight. The truth is, while rare coins can sell for big money, a 1985 Kennedy half-dollar reaching millions is extremely unlikely. Even the best-known high-grade examples usually sell in the range of hundreds to a few $1,000s, not billions. The difference between fantasy and reality lies in rarity, condition, and verified grading. Coins value. Still, that doesn't mean you should ignore this coin. In fact, it's the opposite. The 1985 half-dollar teaches an important lesson. Value isn't always obvious. A coin that looks ordinary could be hiding exceptional quality or a rare minting flaw. That's why collectors carefully examine details like sharpness, luster, and even microscopic lines that most people would never notice. Another fascinating aspect is how scarcity evolves over time. Even though millions were made, most were used, scratched, and damaged in circulation. Over decades, truly pristine examples became harder to find. That's why condition rarity matters so much. It's not just about how many coins were made, it's about how many survived in perfect shape. For collectors, this coin represents opportunity. It's affordable to start with, easy to find, yet still offers the thrill of discovering something valuable. You don't need to be rich to begin. You just need patience, attention to detail, and a bit of curiosity. Because sometimes the biggest discoveries come from the most overlooked places. So if you ever come across a 1985 Kennedy half-dollar, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look. Check its shine, its edges, its details. It may not make you a billionaire overnight, but in rare cases, it could still surprise you with a value far greater than expected. And in the world of coin collecting, that possibility is what keeps the hunt alive. In 1989, the United States Mint produced Kennedy half-dollars in large numbers at both the Philadelphia No Mint Mark and Denver D-Mint Mark facilities. Because millions were struck, most of these coins are still common today. That means a typical 1989 half-dollar you might find in circulation is usually worth only its face value, 50 cents, or slightly more if it's in decent condition. So if you're hoping every 1989 coin is a hidden treasure, it's important to reset expectations. However, the real excitement begins when we move beyond ordinary circulated coins and step into the world of condition and rarity. Coins that have never been used, known as uncirculated or mint state, can carry a premium. A sharply preserved 1989 Kennedy half-dollar with flawless surfaces, strong luster, and no visible where it can be worth several dollars, sometimes even higher depending on grading. The difference between a worn coin and a pristine one can be dramatic, and collectors are willing to pay for that perfection. Now comes the part that fuels the dream, the rare exceptions. Some 1989 Kennedy half-dollars become valuable not because of the year alone, but because of unusual characteristics. These include mint errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. Such mistakes are rare, and rarity is the true engine of high value in coin collecting. When a collector finds one of these anomalies, the price can jump from a few dollars to hundreds, or in extremely rare and dramatic cases, even thousands. Another factor that can push the value higher is professional grading. When a coin is certified by a respected grading service and receives a near-perfect grade, like MS 67 or higher, it enters a completely different level of desirability. These top-grade examples are scarce because very few coins survive in such flawless condition. Collectors competing for the best of the best can drive prices upward, sometimes far beyond what most people expect for a modern coin. There's also a special category of 1989 Kennedy half dollars known as proof coins. These were not meant for circulation, but were specially made for collectors with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. Proof coins from 1989, especially those kept in their original sets and preserved carefully, can carry higher values than regular coins. While they may not reach millions, high-quality proofs can still be quite desirable and valuable within the collector market. It's easy to get caught up in stories claiming that a single coin can make you instantly rich beyond imagination. The truth is, coins that sell for millions are usually extremely rare, historic pieces with unique stories, far beyond standard circulation issues like the 1989 half dollar. That doesn't mean your coin is worthless. It simply means its value depends on specific factors like condition, rarity, and collector demand, not just the date alone. Still, there is something powerful about holding a coin like this. It's a piece of history, a symbol of a nation, and a reminder of a time when physical currency carried deeper emotional meaning. Even if your 1989 Kennedy half dollar isn't worth a fortune, it can still be the beginning of a journey into coin collecting, a world where knowledge turns ordinary objects into meaningful treasures. If you truly believe you have something special, the smartest move is not to rush into selling it cheaply, but also not to assume it's worth millions without evidence. Have it examined, compare it with verified examples, and understand its grade and condition. Knowledge is what protects you from both underselling and unrealistic expectations. In the end, the 1989 Kennedy half dollar is not a guaranteed ticket to overnight billions, but it is a coin filled with potential, history, and possibility. And sometimes, the real fortune isn't just in the price, it's in discovering what you truly hold in your hands, and learning how value is really created in the fascinating world of coins. The truth may surprise you right from the start. A 1993 Kennedy half dollar is not a hidden million-dollar treasure waiting to turn someone into a billionaire overnight. That kind of claim sounds exciting, but it simply doesn't match reality. Still, don't lose interest, because within the world of coin collecting, even an ordinary-looking 1993 half dollar can carry a quiet, fascinating value that goes far beyond its face. The story of this coin begins with John F. Kennedy, whose legacy continues to live on through this iconic design. By 1993, the coin was already a long-established piece of American currency, struck by the United States Mint mainly for collectors rather than everyday circulation. That alone makes many 1990s half dollars more collectible than you might expect, especially in high-quality condition. Now, here's where things get interesting. Most 1993 Kennedy half dollars you'll find are common and typically worth only a few dollars above face value. However, coins that are in perfect, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint state, can fetch significantly higher prices. The difference between a worn coin and a flawless one can mean going from a $1 coin to something worth $20, $50, or even more depending on grading. There are also special versions of the 1993 coin that attract serious attention. Proof coins. These are specially made with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details, created specifically for collectors. A 1993 proof Kennedy half dollar, especially one graded at the highest levels, can be worth much more than regular coins. Not millions, but still valuable enough to make collectors take notice. Another layer of value comes from mint marks. Coins from Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D, are common, but condition and rarity still matter more than location. However, if a coin has an unusual feature, like a striking error, double image, or misprint, that's when things can suddenly become far more exciting. Error coins are rare, and rarity is what truly drives high prices in the coin world. Let's address the million-dollar dream directly. For a coin to reach that level, it needs extreme rarity, historical importance, and intense collector demand, something usually seen in coins from the 1800s or unique minting mistakes. A standard 1993 Kennedy half-dollar simply doesn't meet those conditions. So, while it won't make you instantly rich, it can still be part of a valuable and growing collection. But here's the part many people overlook. Value isn't always just about money. Holding a Kennedy half-dollar connects you to decades of history, to a moment when a nation honored a fallen leader, and to a tradition of coin collecting that spans generations. That emotional and historical weight is something no price tag can fully measure. Collectors who understand this don't chase myths. They chase quality. A carefully preserved 1993 coin, protected from scratches and wear, can steadily increase in value over time. The key is patience, knowledge, and attention to detail. Cleaning the coin, for example, can actually reduce its value dramatically, something beginners often don't realize. If you truly want to unlock the hidden potential of coins like this, the smartest move is learning how grading works and how to identify rare features. A coin that looks ordinary at first glance might carry subtle characteristics that make it special. That's where experience separates casual holders from serious collectors. So, while the dream of becoming a billionaire overnight from a 1993 Kennedy half-dollar isn't realistic, the journey of discovering its real worth can still be rewarding. Instead of chasing exaggerated claims, focus on understanding what you have. Because in the world of coins, knowledge is far more powerful than hype, and sometimes, that's where the real treasure lies.